this memorable evening. Tonight's function begins with a rendition of a song by Subramanyam Bharati, performed by the children of the Delhi Tamil Educational Association.
Venkataraman ji, Honorable Speaker, Sri Sivraj Patil ji, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor for me what these pages contain, but that is essentially the publisher's business secret. But one thing is certain, sir, the book sets a precedent for the future, for it deals with a philosophy that won us over. Precedents acquire a great deal of value, and it was in the fitness of things that the first copy of such a book as this be presented to the institution of democracy, who faithfully looks after the functioning of the Lok Sabha itself, the Honorable Speaker, and but independent of the cumbersome yoke of foreign domain. And I wonder if this fact makes us, first, there is no doubt about the fact that awe-inspiring legacy of the freedom struggle will slip from the conscious mind of our youngsters, shall we say the fourth generation Indian, in the next 10 years to come. Nehru wrote Discovery of India, and it helps youth and faithfully reconstruct them when the opportune time arrived. It indeed must have been a delicate task to advise and guide the government and at the same time maintain a sea of notes. I remember well when Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma was, I share with you all today to let you know the flair and the delicate way in which the President handles his own affairs. And the book gives you a glimpse of many such facets of him that even the high office of the President could not alienate himself from the common man. He bore much the same fate. His sacred telephone gets out of order. And that even his desire to have the lawns of Rashtrapati Bhavan renovated could not be granted, for he could not find designers daring enough to risk public opinion. President Venkataraman was truly the common man's president. Sir, I beg leave of your chair to deviate this time from the text of the written word to say that President Venkataraman has a very romantic heart. To substantiate this statement, particularly I would say so, especially on nature, beauty, school, education, social life, etc. So I come by elaborating my statement that President Venkataraman ji has a very romantic heart. To substantiate this statement, I should inform you that while on a visit to United Kingdom, Sri Venkataraman was accorded a civic reception in the city of Westminster. Venkataraman chose to deviate from the written text of his speech to retell, I repeat, Sri Venkataraman chose to deviate from his written text of his speech to retell the famous play of Shakespeare, the love story of Romeo. The matter was widely reported in the press and greatly admired by the Englishmen. I wish I could recount Sri Venkataraman as yet, and later speakers, if they so desire, may read it out to the audience. And before I officially conclude my address, I must say this is a great event for Indian publishing. An event, once again, the Indian Publishing Committee feels indebted to him. And on behalf of my entire brethren in trade, I wish to acknowledge this date here. I also take this opportunity to thank all and everyone associated with the book, especially Mr. Venkat Subramaniam, who made it possible for the book to be written, Mr. K.S. Padmanabhan of affiliated East West Press, whose good offices we may need it again, and last but not the least, my editors and printers who not just ran but sprinted against time to get the book in print today, exactly 7 years after President Venkataraman assumed office. Please give him a big hand. Thank you very much.
Privilege to be invited to release the memoirs of Sri R Venkataram, the former President of India. The bend of Indian history which Sri Venkataraman is witness to is unique and unprecedented. The great institutions and pillars of democracy are put to the test of their ultimate strength. Nobody ever perhaps claimed that democracy was the ideal form of government. But history and human experience have shown that as compared to all other forms of government tried so far, democracy is the least hostile. It is thus that every citizen has almost a sacred obligation to maintain the purity of its institutions, more so those who are in charge of them. One sure way of destroying democracy is either to thine own self-elegant phrase, precision of expression, and display unputdownable. Sri Venkataraman's my presidential years is really unputdownable. I thank you for your courtesy.
To release the memoirs of the former president, understand different aspects of the history more correctly. In India, only a few have written their memoirs and made them available to others. With all the difficulties involved in it, they should be written and explained to the leaders. who may compare them with which otherwise can get lost in the oblivion of time should be preserved. Hence, the type used is bold and very much easy to read. The language used is uninvolved, direct, and very lucid. It's time. The reader has not to pause to ponder over the syntax to understand the meaning covered by the words. He can read on and perceive easily what is tried to be conveyed. The thoughts, ideas, concepts run ahead of the words. The thoughts, ideas, and concepts flow out of the author's pen, and the words chase them and clothe them. Sant Ganeshwar, a great Marathi poet also, while reading this book also. Quoting Shakespeare, the author has said that one has to be true to oneself so that one can be true to others. That was the policy. Nay, that was the philosophy he followed in all things he did and said. What is written in the book relates to very important aspects of modern history of India. He has written about those aspects as he perceived and saw them. My understanding of the contents is that they do not subtract from or reduce the strength or status of the occasions or the individuals. The book is not only a commentary on the historic, and it's no wonder that a small child wanted to know as to how he could keep smiling. It may be positive and not negative. It may be because he is optimistic and not pessimistic about what it is that he was keen to follow the Constitution to the hilt. He was modern in his approach towards the issues of development and administration, as he understands it to be, and tips of the same block. His personality in India and the world. Our prayers are
I'll tell a small story. In January 1980, when I was appointed Finance Minister, I told Indira Gandhi that I wanted Suraj Patel as my Minister of State. The Prime Minister said, he is a very good man, I will take him. The legislature, the executive, and the judiciary must be harmonious, cordial, and pleasant. The division of powers which Montesquieu referred to in his book has now been transformed in a modern state into harmonious relations between the three forms of state, and that is the spirit that must prevail in modern conditions. And since that problem was solved at that time, this was completely given up. I say this because I still believe that we must find a solution to the differences between the legislature and the judiciary, and some kind of an understanding should be established between these three arms of government so that the country may march on smoothly. I owe a word of explanation as to why I wrote this book. None of my illustrious predecessors, either Dr. Radhakrishnan or Dr. Rajendra Prasad, had cared to write about their period or tenancy of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. I was a little nervous. Well, I may belong to the species of those who rush where angels fear to tread. But my term of office was so full of turbulence and so full of matters which required decisions by the President, and also so full of issues that are likely to arise now and hereafter. I nevertheless braved to write this book because I felt that the future must have some guidance or other whenever issues like that arise. Gandhi and President Rail Singh were gaining momentum